He left an indelible mark on the ancient world, and his campaign against the Persian Empire remains one of the most significant chapters in ancient history. Today we're going to be talking about Alexander the Great, the military genius who reshaped the ancient world's geopolitical landscape. From a young age, it was clear the prince was destined for greatness, and he spent his formative years learning everything he needed to know to successfully fill his father's shoes. How did one man lead an outnumbered army against some of the ancient world's most formidable opponents and become victorious? The answers lie in his brilliant and tactical brain, and his refusal to back down from a fight. Join us as we explore the mind of Alexander the Great, one of ancient history's most significant leaders. Alexander the Great was born in 365 BCE in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia. He was the child of King Philip II and Queen Olympias, and grew up surrounded by the trappings of royalty and the tumultuous nature of Macedonian court politics. His parents carefully curated his upbringing, and his mother instilled a strong sense of destiny and ambition in the future leader. His father's turbulent reign, which was marked by assassination attempts and conflicts with neighboring states, shaped the ruler he later became. Trained by renowned military instructors, Alexander honed his skills in swordsmanship, horsemanship, and military tactics. He excelled so much that King Philip II appointed him as a commander of the Macedonian army while he was still a teenager. The young prince also displayed a thirst for knowledge early on, and had a natural aptitude for learning. His tutor, Aristotle, encouraged him to study a wide range of subjects, including literature, philosophy, mathematics, and science. It was at this time that Alexander the Great developed a deep appreciation for Greek culture and history, which would later influence his vision of a unified Hellenistic empire. Alexander's father was assassinated by one of his bodyguards in 336 BCE. His abrupt and shocking death plunged the court into chaos. Military conquests, political consolidation, and the transformation of Macedonia into a formidable regional power marked Philip's reign. Being heir to the throne didn't mean that becoming king would be easy for Alexander. He had to fight the country's complicated political landscape to secure his spot as ruler. Once he took his place as king, Alexander moved swiftly to consolidate power, neutralize potential rivals, and assert his authority over the fractious Macedonian nobility. He served his position by executing or exiling potential rivals and dissenters within the royal court. Among those targeted were members of the Argead dynasty, the ruling house of Macedonia, who posed a threat to Alexander's claim to the throne. By eliminating internal opposition, Alexander solidified his power over the nation and established himself as the undisputed king. At the time of Alexander's ascension to the Macedonian throne, the Persian Empire was under the rule of Darius III, who held sway as the dominant power in the Near East. The Persian Empire encompassed vast territories, stretching from Anatolia in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. It embodied wealth, military strength, and cultural diversity. Persian cities were centers of commerce and culture, had formidable armies, and a strong influence over diverse groups of people. For centuries, Persia was a formidable adversary to the Greek city-states, and engaged in frequent conflicts and power struggles in the Aegean region and the eastern Mediterranean. Persian invasions of Greek territories, such as the Greco-Persian Wars in the early 5th century BCE, created a lasting imprint on collective Greek memory and fostered a deep-seated animosity and desire for revenge amongst the Greeks. Alexander the Great was determined to assert Macedonian hegemony over the Near East and avenge past Persian incursions into Greek territory. Fueled by desire to emulate the heroic feats of legendary figures like Achilles and Heracles, Alexander the Great saw himself as a champion of Greek fandom and civilization against the perceived tyranny of the Persian Empire. The king viewed his campaign against Persia to be not only a military conquest, but also a crusade to liberate Greek cities and spread Hellenic culture and ideals throughout the world. In 334 BCE, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont, the strategic waterway separating Europe from Asia Minor. This crossing was the start of one of the most audacious military expeditions in history, and made Alexander's intent to challenge Persian dominance in the Near East known. But it was not an easy operation. Upon entering Asia Minor, Alexander encountered the first major obstacle in his conquest, a combined Persian and Greek army assembled by the satraps, or governors of the western provinces of the Persian Empire. King Darius III instructed his satraps to halt Alexander's advances and defend Persian territory from Macedonian incursion. The confrontation occurred near the Granicus River in northwest Asia Minor, and would later be referred to as the Battle of Granicus. Alexander's forces were outnumbered and struggled to hold a strong defensive position along the riverbank. However, despite the numerical disadvantage, Alexander's tactical brilliance on the battlefield helped his army secure victory. He devised a bold plan to break through the Persian-Greek lines. Instead of launching a frontal assault, he led a cavalry charge across the river and plowed directly into the heart of the enemy formation. This act caught the Persians off guard and disrupted their defensive lines, creating chaos and confusion among their ranks. Alexander's army inflicted mass casualties to the enemy forces and resulted in a resounding victory. The victory bolstered morale among his troops and set the stage for further conquests to come. Alexander wasted no time and used his momentum to press further into Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. The conquest would serve as a strategic stepping stone for his campaign against the Persian Empire, allow him to demonstrate his military prowess, and help him win the loyalty of local populations. Greek cities like Ionia welcomed Alexander's forces as they were their liberators. People viewed Alexander's conquests as an opportunity to break away from Persian oppression and regain their autonomy. Many Greek cities opened their gates to Alexander's army to offer their allegiance and support in his campaign against the Persian Empire. As his popularity grew, Alexander forged strategic alliances with local tribes and kingdoms of Anatolia, leveraging their support to further weaken Persian control over the region. He cultivated alliances with influential figures like Ada of Caria and rulers of Lycia and Pisidia. It was at this point that he gained access to vital resources, including troops and supplies, which better prepared him for the battle ahead. The conquest of Anatolia wasn't just about territorial control, it also served as a psychological and strategic blow to the Persian Empire. As he gained more control, Alexander the Great developed a reputation for being an invincible military commander, attracting various warriors and adventurers from across Greece to join his fight. The allure of glory, riches, and the promise of new conquests drew soldiers, mercenaries, and volunteers to Alexander's cause, growing his army and reinforcing his expeditionary force for the challenges that lay ahead. Alexander also moved so quickly and garnered so much support that it undermined Persian authority and sowed seeds of discontent among the Persian people, which destabilized the empire's hold over its western provinces. As tensions grew, Alexander the Great confronted King Darius III in a momentous battle of Issus. Alexander's forces faced overwhelming odds, as they were outnumbered by Darius's vast army of formidable Persian infantry, cavalry, and Greek mercenaries. However, Alexander was unfazed and confident in his tactical brilliance and seasoned Macedonian army. Alexander's army charged against the heart of the Persian line, aiming to break through the center to reach the Persian king. The move surprised the Persians and disrupted their formation, allowing Alexander's cavalry to outmaneuver and overwhelm their opponents. King Darius III panicked and abandoned his army. In response, Alexander's troops captured the king's family and treasury. Alexander the Great embarked on his final campaign against the Persian Empire in 330 BCE, with the siege and fall of Persepolis, the empire's grand capital. Located in the Persian heartland in modern-day Iran, the city was a symbol of power, wealth, and cultural sophistication. It boasted opulent palaces, grandiose monuments, and elaborate works of art that celebrated the Persian civilization. After years of military conquests and strategic maneuvering, Alexander besieged Persepolis, cutting off its supply lines in an effort to capture the symbolic heart of the Persian Empire. Soon the city fell to the Macedonian army. The victory had far-reaching consequences in the ancient world, paving the way for the spread of Greek culture, language, and ideas across the conquered territories. It also cemented Alexander's reputation as one of history's greatest conquerors and empire builders. His success promoted the exchange of ideas, technologies, and commerce between the East and West, fostering a period of unprecedented cultural exchange known as the Hellenistic Age. Often referred to as one of history's greatest conquerors, Alexander the Great established Macedonian hegemony, reshaping the ancient world and changing the course of human history. He conquered Persia and shaped history. Alexander the Great proved that even if his troops were outnumbered, his strategic leadership and military tactics could defeat even the most skilled armies.